This is your practice 1.3. We're going to do that bottom section. So they tell you in the figure, points P, Q, R, and S are in plane N. Okay, so I like putting this guy over here. He's the name of the plane. He's not a point. Determine whether each statement is true or false. Okay, well, before we get going, I'm going to put that fancy M outside as well. That's the name of the plane. So in this diagram, it's always good to be familiar with it first. You kind of have a horizontal plane that has some stuff. Then you have this vertical plane that has some stuff. Okay. Over here we have a line that's going through our horizontal plane, touching it once, going up and down. Points R, this is number 7. Points R, S, and T are collinear. R, S, T. Can you connect them with a line? That's what that means. You can't. But what you could do, we have a postulate that says any 3 points that are non-collinear, they can be connected with a plane. So these 3 points live on plane M, but you can't connect them with a line. So that answer is no, or false. Number 8, there is only one plane that contains all the points R, S, and Q. That's totally true. That's the postulate that I just talked about. Any 3 points that aren't in a line can be connected with a plane. Only one plane. Okay, and that's the horizontal one. Number 9 and 10, they talk about this thing here. This is an angle, and we haven't talked about that yet. Sometimes our book does that. They start talking about things that we haven't discussed yet. So they're basically asking you, is angle PQT, that would be like this guy here. I think a lot of us know what an angle is, but that's how you would read it. Is that angle completely inside of this horizontal plane N? And the answer there is false, because point T there is below that plane, if you see that. Number 10, angle SPR. That's this angle. Is it on plane fancy N, that horizontal one? And it is. All 3 of those points are on it, so they would be coplanar. That angle would live on the plane. Okay, number 11. If points X and Y are 2 points on line M, that's this guy, then that line intersects the horizontal plane N at point P. That's true. They're just making up a point X and a point Y somewhere on that line. Doesn't this line touch the plane in only one spot? It does. Number 12, point K, that's this guy. Is it on the horizontal plane? This is a tricky one. And if you haven't seen this before, you might get this wrong. This plane, remember, goes on and on forever. So it's going on forever in this direction. And since this line right here is completely on this plane, then any point that's on that line is going to be on that plane too. They go on forever. That's true. This is that fancy N. It's talking about the plane. Does it contain segment RS? Absolutely it does. Both of those points are on it. So all the points in between are on it too. Number 14, point T lies in plane fancy N. So here's your plane fancy N. Does point T live on it? No, it lives below it. Number 15, point R, point P, point S, and point T. R, P, S, and T. Are they all on the same plane? That's what coplanar means. Well, any 3 of them are on the same plane, but any 4, not necessarily. Notice how point T is clearly below the flat surface that contains those 3. This is false. Number 16, these are referring to lines, line L and line M. I'll put those little notations there so you know. Do those 2 lines intersect? Here's line L, here's line M. Now, if they go on forever, you might say, well, this arrowhead is definitely going to come through here and intersect this line. You might think that, but they don't, because it's kind of like this concept. Line M is sitting vertical, and then line L is over here somewhere. Now, if this goes straight up and down this way and this goes forward like this, are they ever going to touch, even if they go on forever? They're not going to. So these types of lines we're going to talk about later as well, but they're definitely not going to intersect. That's false. So part of the struggle here is knowing how to visualize this diagram and knowing what means what. These lines are in different planes.